Greetings, beloved. I'm Dr. Felicia LaBoy, lead pastor and life coach here at the historic First United Methodist Church in downtown Elgin, Illinois, with another motivational moment from the Bible. These motivational moments are designed to help us take however we hear the Word of God, whether that's in church, online, in our private time, Bible study, Sunday school, however you get the Word of God, we want to help you make that a part of your everyday life. This week, I want to talk about the idea of let the potter work. Let the potter work. Let me see if I can explain. I don't know about you, but I consider myself a master planner. A few weeks ago, I shared with the congregation how I almost blew what was supposed to be a great little time for my husband because I was more concerned about how we were getting there and making sure that we went the right way, that I missed him just sharing with me how he grew up in the neighborhood where we were going, and in fact that he knew exactly where he was going. A little bit like what I'm talking about here. Many of us have made plans, or perhaps we're even at this stage of life and we never thought it was going to be like this. You know, beloved, that can be very hard, especially if you get a bad diagnosis, if you lost your job sooner than you thought, if you got a divorce. There are so many things that cause us and cause our lives to be marred in our hands. In Jeremiah 18, what causes the nation of Israel to be marred in the hands of God is that God keeps trying to remind them how they are to treat the poor, the oppressed, or what I like to call the least, the last, the lost, and the left out. He keeps telling them over and over, keeps sending prophets to them over and over to tell them, stop relying on your own self. Stop allowing the military and the religious community and the government to collude together to continue to oppress people. And they won't listen. They won't listen because they're afraid, and they won't listen because for the people on the top, it's working out for them. And so God describes that situation, that the nation of Israel has become marred in his hands. It means that God had a plan for them, but because of their own way, because of circumstances in life, because some of the people didn't do anything wrong, that their original intent that God had for them was marred. And so what does God do? What any good potter does, recognize that there's still value in the clay and smashes it to start over. I know what that's like. Back in my 20s, I had a very successful business career, and I was sure that by the time I was 50, I would be CEO someplace, or at least a high-powered vice president. Problem is, God called me to ministry, and really, I knew that God called me then. I just didn't want to listen. And so I happened to work for a tech company, and before I knew it, I was laid off. My whole world turned upside down, and I ended up being someplace I never intended. But when I look back over my life, there are two things that I think are very pertinent to this text. One is that in spite of the fact that I almost went bankrupt, that I had lost my home, that I lost the job that I had, that some people walked away from me because I couldn't do for them what I used to do, God took the fragments of my life and put them back together for a ministry, a career, friends, family, extended friends and family, a life that I could have never imagined. Here's the point, beloved. If you find yourself in a situation that you never intended to be in, you thought that things would not end like this or look like this, hear me good. I don't care how messed up or wrecked up our life becomes. In the Black church, it would say, I don't care if your life is toe up from the flow up. It doesn't matter because God sees in your life the makings of something great. So why don't you let the potter work? If God created you, God knows what's still there, and God knows what can be used and brought forth from your life if you will remind yourself that your life should be in God's hands. I know, a lot, right? Probably what you didn't want to hear, especially if your life is not where you want it or intended it to be by now. I really want to encourage you to please, please, please play the Refresh Your Soul song for this week. It's an oldie from Walter and Tremaine Hawkins that have been updated by Javon and Gerard. It's called The Potter Wants to Put You Back Together Again. It is an incredible song, and I pray that it will bless your soul. And I pray too, regardless of where you find your life, remember we're still in His hands. He knows how He's created us, and He knows what He's created us for. So let the potter work. Beloved, I am Dr. Felicia LaBoy, lead pastor and life coach here at the historic First United Methodist Church in downtown Elgin, Illinois. Stick around for that Refresh Your Soul moment, and I'll catch you here next week. Love you. Bye.